Hello, 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 hello. Hello, it's 5 already. Sorry, my voice is not too good. I just hope everybody can hear me. So hello, 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 hello.
Hello, madam.
Hello,
Evening,
hello,
hi.
hi. So we're just going to start. I think we have some people on ground, so we can proceed. So hello everybody, my name is Feikemi Aduro Bangba and I am the founder of Speak to Transform. Speak to Transform is a company that works to enlighten, equip, educate and empower individuals with particular reference to African youths and teenagers. So we plan to do this, the empowerment, we plan to empower people using the right kind of information. So for me, the intention is really to just expose people or help people to become the best version of themselves and reveal that there is gold in each and every one of us. So that's the main goal for Speak to Transform. We have different programs, we have different units, and the ST Talk Show is one of such. And we are going to be talking about an important topic, a topic that I feel is very dear to my heart. Money matters. So anybody that knows me knows that I love anything that has to do with making money. So Speak to Transform today is having a guest speaker. Her name is Mrs. Busoal Olateju. She is an investment analyst, but she loves to be referred to herself as a money enthusiast, a money enthusiast. So I'm going to actually throw the ball to Busola right now as to just tell us quickly what you do and where you work and let people get familiar with you a bit.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Busoal Olateju, and I work as an investment banker with Norimberger Financial Group. Right, today we're going to be talking about master your money. I know this is an interesting topic because everybody, whether you make money or not, everybody spends money. So it is an important topic, and I know everybody will be interested in at least learning one or two things about your money. So I hope you enjoy today's session. Thank you.
Okay, so Busola, one more thing, right? One quick
Okay.
question. What can you just tell us something that other people don't know about you? Or should I say a majority of people don't know about you? One fun fact about yourself.
Okay, it's a bit that I love money so much. Like I met somebody, one of my very close friends now. The first time I met her, like she actually still rings it in my head every day that, oh, so like the first time I met you actually told me that you joke with any other thing, but you will never joke about your money. And I'm like, oh, at what point did I say this? Did you get? So I think I think that has to be it. Maybe because I come from a part of the southwest where money and parties seems to be the order of our day. So I don't know if that's why my love for money
I think
I don't know.
I think I resonate
Really
with that
that's
because
it.
that's something that struck me about you when we just met. Like if they say something is 2 naira in front of Busola, she will still go and look for someone that is selling it for 50 kobo, and I'll be like, "What is your Igbo
Yes, so
name?"
you have to save money.
So I'm like, seriously, please, what is your Igbo name again? Please remind us.
Ugochukwu,
Yes,
same
Ugochukwu. So Ugochukwu, as it's really
Yeah,
in you, right? It's really in you.
so you can imagine the combination of where I'm from and my Igbo because I'm half as well. So the combination needs to be, as in, it has to be strong. That money thing needs to be there. So
So
it's, I think it's inborn.
yeah,
Indeed.
Ijebo and Igbo.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Delta Igbo. So my mom is half Igbo. I'm sorry,
Okay.
my mom is Igbo, so it makes me half Igbo, half Yoruba.
Oh, cool. I see. So, for everybody who is here, we already have some questions that have been collated, but you can feel free to throw in the questions into the chat room, right? So we'll proceed. She has already introduced herself. She's an investment analyst at Norumbeja. I hope I pronounced it well. And she's a money enthusiast. She's half Igbo, half Yoruba. I think for me, she's one of the best people I feel can deal with this topic and deal with it properly. So I think one of the things that birthed this particular topic was the fact that I recently read Smart Money Woman. And honestly, I was reading it in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep because I felt the person who wrote that book was talking to me directly, because there are so many issues she was bringing up that I felt a lot of people actually have to be aware of, both younger generation as well as older generation. So my question now is, someone like me, I have saved. In the past 10 years, I would say I have saved, I have invested. But one problem I always realize is at the end of the year, or maybe at the beginning of a new year, I find that I'm starting from scratch again. So maybe I've spent all the money I have put into my savings into something, and I'm like, what's really going on? So how best will you say we can grow our money as individuals, even as people, even for people who are in university as well? How best can you say we can grow our money?
Okay, growing money for people mean different things. So some people actually decide to grow money by just saving their money, which is not, saving money alone is not a way of growing money as far as I'm concerned. For you to grow money, yeah, you either need to have a side hustle. So side hustle is maybe if you have a 9 to 5 job, you need to either have a side hustle, like a business you are doing aside your salary earnings. Or for some people like me, I don't think I'm a great business person. So saving and growing my money to me will mean investing in things, in assets that are capable of generating returns for me. And right now, there are a whole lot of things that you can invest in that will grow your money for you. And for you that at the end of the year, you end up spending money that should not be spent, because the whole idea of saving or investing is not so that you spend it maybe in the next 12 months. No, that's not the whole idea of investing. The whole idea of investing is like you're saving towards your financial future. Do you understand? So it's not money that, oh, I just kept this aside. At the end of maybe in December, I will just spend all this money and start all over again. No, that's not the goal of investing. You need to have like something in mind. So like what you need to have, like a goal in mind. What are you saving towards? What are you investing towards? It's not just, oh, yeah, just putting money aside to blow and start again. Do you understand? You need to put them in maybe assets that are capable of generating more income for you.
Okay. So what kind of assets are we looking at here? What kind of things?
Okay, so for example, instead of just saving, because saving will just mean setting aside money, right? So instead of just setting aside money, why don't you invest in something that is capable of generating returns for you? The simplest one would be maybe investing in fixed deposits, for example. Fixed deposits would normally give you returns that are higher than what your savings account would give you. Do you understand? So you can invest in fixed deposits, you can invest in bonds, treasury bills, mutual funds. It all depends on you. But like I would always advise people, no matter what anybody tells you to invest in, you can trust people like when they tell you to invest in something, but I always tell people to verify. Do you understand? So it's not about anybody telling you, oh, come and invest in this. You need to also be sure of what you're investing in.
So the thing about, because I've done fixed deposit myself, and one of the things that discouraged me is the fact that the returns on these things are very minute. What
Yes.
You have to have like a lot of money, so it discourages you to continue. So what do you say? Maybe we shouldn't be looking at it, as you said, it's a financial future thing, it's a financial freedom thing. So you shouldn't look at it for the now. let me not start answering the questions, but what do you advise, considering the fact that someone like me, I put what I have, the little I have into it, and the profit I get on it is very small.
Okay, okay, I would advise that you look at it long term. Do you understand? So you should not look at it as, oh, I'm going to be investing for 3 months, 6 months, because they are short-term investments. But for younger people, I advise that you look at it long-term, see it as a way of banking into your financial future. Do you understand? So keep it aside, like for future purposes. Don't look at the returns, because I know everybody has heard this saying that the higher the risk, the higher the return. Do you understand? So fixed deposits are relatively safe, and so maybe that's why the returns are not so great, like you said. But it's, if you look at other investment options, if you are getting more returns, then the risks are usually higher than maybe what a treasury bills or other assets would give you. So it all depends on you. But like I said, always look at it long term. Look at your investments for long term purposes, not exactly for something that you do for a very short time, like 3 months. I know there are investments for 3 months and 6 months and the like, but look at it long term, really.
So can we just walk into any bank and be like, okay, we want to do a fixed deposit? And when you say long term, what are you saying? Are you saying like 5 years? Are you saying 2 years? Are you saying 10 years?
Well, it all depends. Like I said earlier, it all depends on the goal you have in mind. So you need to first of all define why you're investing. Why? Every individual needs to answer that question. Why am I investing in the first place? So that would automatically give you an idea of how long you want to, leave your money in fixed deposits for. Because at the end of the day, you're putting the money aside, investing to grow your money, and maybe long term get an asset, maybe in real estate or something else. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So so I can't determine how long you should invest for. It all depends on the individual and what your goals are, really.
Okay, so you should have the end in mind when you're investing. Does it make sense to invest to say you want to travel out for vacation?
Well, that will fall under budgeting.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not there. It's To me, vacation is it's not exactly an investment. It is a want. You want to travel, you don't need to travel. Do you understand? There are two different things. So in this case, you want to travel. It is not a bad thing to want to travel. Do you understand? Because people maybe work from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, maybe work 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you find yourself like just going over the cycle, like forgetting your own self. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But and plan to travel. It doesn't have to be a noun thing, but you can budget towards it. Maybe if we are going to talk about budgets, then we can
Budgeting.
talk more about
Yeah.
it under budget.
Okay. So what strategies can you give? For example, someone like me that said I saved and at the end of the day I ate all the savings at the end of the year. What strategies will you say you advise someone like me? What ways can I save properly? What kind of things can I do to discipline myself, if I use that word, to make sure that at the end of the year I look at my bank account and I'm satisfied, I'm happy, and I haven't squandered everything for Ashwebi and the likes.
Okay. I would advise that you treat your savings as a bill. Did you get that?
No,
Treat your
I didn't.
savings as a in terms of, okay, so everybody plans to pay rent maybe once a year. Maybe you plan to buy food every month because you must eat. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That way, you should also plan towards your savings. Your savings should be a bill. So the way you set aside money for your rent, set aside money for your feeding, for your clothing and everything. Also set aside money for savings and investments, because it is a way of like building your financial future. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
treating it as a bill is like, so don't treat your savings first. That's like paying yourself first. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Pay yourself first. Place value on yourself. Place value on your savings, on your investment. It should not be the last thing. So for a salary earner or maybe a business person, savings should not be the last thing on your mind when you've done every other thing. Do you understand? So the moment you get money, I think you should first of all put in something towards your savings, and then once in a while we get like extra bonuses. So maybe profit sharing for those that work. Sometimes people dash you money. Sometimes they are just windfalls from, from different places. Do you understand? That don't exactly have like a plan. So instead of maybe, oh, somebody gave me money or I got profit sharing, the next thing I'm buying the latest gadget in town. Do you get? Instead of doing that, you should actually save, treat it as a bill, and then maybe later you can determine what you plan to do with it. Do you get? A windfall or profit sharing or bonuses, because every worker maybe at the end of the month gets some form of bonus or something. It's not money to squander on something you wished to have. Do you understand? Just put it in your savings, put it in your investments, and then determine what you want to do with it.
Okay, I hear you very well. I've actually not thought about it like that, like put it separately like a rent and things like that.
Yeah, so
I,
just treat it like
yeah, treat it like that and not see it as something like, oh, I have this money, let me go and spend it, as you said, on gadget or maybe on a new shoe, on a new bag. So what is what is budgeting? We found that question that you've already started talking about. What is budgeting? Is budgeting necessary for everybody? For example, if you have money to spend, you have the money, do you still need to budget?
Of course, you need to budget, because budgeting is like allocating money for specific purposes. So it's just a way of allocating money, and it is the art of balancing income versus expenses. So there's a popular math that says income minus expenses equals to a budget surplus or a deficit. Sorry, I'm
No.
okay,
Some of us just
so
did like all maths.
okay, let me break it down. So
Okay.
budgeting is balancing your income. That's like maybe the money you get every month, right? For salary and for 95 hours is your salary, right? For
Yeah.
business people, it's like the money, the profit you make on your business. So that's your income. Income can be other things, maybe inheritance. It can be different things. The stock shares you get, maybe if you've invested in stocks. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So by the time you maybe write down all your sources of income, and then you determine your expenses by also writing them down. I'm saying writing them down because I write a lot. Some people use apps. Do you understand? Some people use Excel sheets. It all depends on what you find convenient for you. But personally, I like to write. Like I have 1,000,001 jotters. I'm always writing so that I'm not spending on things that I'm not supposed to spend on. Do you understand? So like,
You spend
yes,
everything you
yes.
spend, you write it down.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Like even if I forget in my sleep, I will wake up and write it. Yes,
So,
yes,
please,
please,
how long?
yes.
Sorry to digress, but how long ago did you start doing this? How long did you start journaling your money, your expenses?
Okay, less than a year ago.
Okay.
Less than a year, yeah. So it hasn't been too long.
Okay.
But I noticed that when I started journaling my spending, I mean, something could last for. Do you understand? So it all, or maybe create an Excel sheet for the tech people. I like tech, but personally, I like to write as well. And there are apps. I think there's Money Expense, there's Moneyfy. There are different apps that help with tracking expenses. So it all just depends on you.
Okay.
So back to my math that got people confused a bit. I was saying it's about budgeting is about balancing income and expenses. So I think at least people have a better idea with all my explanations, right?
I hope
okay, so income. so you need to first of all determine your income and then your expenses. So you do income minus expenses. So let's say, for example, if you earn 100,000 in a month and your expenses per month is, let's say, 80,000. This is just, it can be more. Do you understand? It all depends on an individual. So let's say your expenses per month is 80,000, right? So if you subtract your income from your expenses, it gives you a budget surplus or a deficit. Do you understand?
Okay.
So let's do the math again. If you have 100,000 and your expenses are like 80,000, right?
Yeah.
There's a 20,000 naira difference, right?
Yeah.
In your budget. So that is a surplus. So it means that you are living within your means.
Okay.
Do you understand? But if you make 100,000 and you are spending maybe 150,000 in a month, so it means you have a budget deficit. And that automatically means that you need to adjust your spending. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So from the budgeting, there's a standard budgeting rule that says 50, 30, 20. It's a very common rule. 50% goes into your needs, 30% goes into your wants, and 20% goes into your financial future. A lot of people like to say savings, but I say financial future because it is not just savings. It's savings, investments, emergency funds, and the likes. Do you understand? So the 50% are like your needs, the things that are that are essential to you, things that you need to do. Like your rent is an essential. Do you understand? Feeding is an essential because you must feed. Yes, it is an essential. So it all depends. Your bills are essential, like your utility bills are essential to you because you must pay for water. For those that pay for water, you must pay for electricity. Do you understand? So those are bills that are non-negotiable. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then we have the wants bucket where going on vacation falls. So you can also put in something towards your going on vacation. So your wants are like things like, oh, I like to eat out. You can plan towards it. You earn money, you make money, so you need to, satisfy your need, your wants once in a while. So for example, instead of eating out every day, so I buy lunch every day, like I spend money on lunch every day. By the time you sit down and calculate how much you are spending on the lunch every day, your eyes will open. Do you understand? So instead of maybe buying lunch every day, why don't you decide that, maybe twice a month, 3 times a month, it all depends on you, I'm going to save towards my wants. Do you understand? Splurge on, maybe I'll take myself to an expensive restaurant and buy whatever I feel like eating. It all depends on, you understand, but you have planned towards it. Do you get? You need to plan towards it. And then the 20%, which is your financial future, that's where savings and investments save and invest.
So, Busola, the thing is, you mentioned, for example, someone is earning 100,000 and the person is spending 150. Is it really possible, considering like the country we are in, considering the job opportunities we have, to really live within budget in Nigeria? in places where, for example, you have people that earn 40,000 naira, and even moving, especially places like Abuja where things are expensive, you have to think about rent, you have to think about food. Can people really live within budget? Is it really possible?
It is very possible. You just need to cut your coat according to your size. Do you understand? Not compare yourself to anybody. You're earning 100,000, you're earning 40,000. Don't compare yourself to the person that is earning maybe 500,000 or the likes. Do you understand? So it's just about living within your means, not comparing yourself to anybody else. Do you understand? Because by the time you start to compare, you start to have a problem. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because I was reading something yesterday that says investing, getting and being broke from investing also sounds like being broke from impressing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So yes, two individuals can be broke, but they can be broke for different reasons.
Yeah.
One person is broke because they invested their money. The second person is broke because they try to impress other people. Do you understand? So it all just depends on you as an individual.
True. Like you can suffer two ways, but you are suffering for a financial freedom when you are when you are broke for investing. So I love Nigerians, right? Like we love to slay. But most times, just like you said, I think it already covers it. We don't, our bank account doesn't slay as much as our dressing, and it's not at par. So what I recently heard about financial goals, and I'm like, seriously, people have career goals, people have like fashion goals, but do people really have financial goals? Like you wake up 1st of January and you say, okay, I want to hit this money at the end of the year, or maybe at the end of the quarter. Can you just gist us a bit? Do you have a financial goal, and how did you start doing it? How do you advise people to set financial goals for themselves? And if they can, even though we are in July, it's something that if we learn today, you can start after this program.
Okay, so a lot of people actually have goals that they set at the beginning of the year, but don't follow through.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's not like people don't have goals. People just change the course of their goals as the year goes by. So a financial goal is like a personal objective. I can only advise, but every individual has an objective that they set for themselves. Do you understand? For how they would save and invest. So there's no template for a financial goal. It all depends on what you hope to achieve. It's like the big picture you see of yourself. Like when you wake up every day, what do you see? Do you understand? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? You need to constantly look at the big picture. Do you understand? So it's not just about, oh, I set a goal in the middle of the year. I'm like, oh, this goal, am I sure I still want to continue with this thing? Am I really sure? You need to be disciplined, because there's a popular saying that goes, only the disciplined ones in life are free.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it all just depends on your own goals as an individual, your objectives as an individual. So like for your financial goals, you can write them down. Maybe put them somewhere that you see it every time. Do you understand? It all depends on you. And then you need to plan short-term goals. What do you want to achieve in the short term? What do you want to achieve long term? Do you understand? It all depends on you. And then you have to categorize them. Categorize your goals. Categorize them according to wants. Categorize them according to needs. So like we mentioned earlier, somebody's goal can be to travel. Do you understand? So you can categorize it under one and save towards it. It's not a bad thing to want to enjoy yourself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Especially when you work so hard, especially when you make money. Do you understand? You need to, at least once in a while, relax. and like enjoy life, because I mean, life is not to be endured. You need to enjoy life to the maximum, really.
Okay, so Busola, I'm finding this a bit difficult considering that again, you have some people. I guess it's about priorities. You have some people that are earning 40, 50, 60,000 naira. Will you
Yeah.
saying you want to travel, as you said, comparison, there are some things I feel people should, even people that earn 200 or 300,000, there are some things you just have to look at it from the point of view. I'm trying to buttress your points. Look at it from the point of view
Okay.
that you want to be free financially, maybe in the next 10, 20 years. So there are some things you may just have to cancel for now, and you start saving and investing as in for, so that maybe even if you don't enjoy it now, your children may be able to enjoy it later. And let's
Yeah.
not rush to start doing things that we will end up drinking Gary in the next 10, 20 years. Start doing them now. So I guess I'm buttressing your point about being no comparisons. Look at financial freedom. Look at where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? And don't just think for the now. So when should people start? This is for everybody. I don't think it's for the men or for the elderly. But when, as I said, I read that Smart Money book, and it gave me, I wasn't happy with myself personally. I wasn't happy with where I was financially. And it really woke me up. There were some things that I already started doing, but I just felt it should be better and I could do better. So for people here, when do you think we should start thinking of having a will? And do you think a will is something that should be limited to people that just have money, or as far as they're a parent, you should have a will?
Okay, so can we first of all look at what a will is?
Okay.
Okay, so let's take it from there. A will is a legal declaration of an individual's wishes regarding the disposal of their assets when they are no more, right?
Yeah.
So personally, there's no right time to write a will from your question. But I can advise that the moment you start to have maybe assets that you know that if anything happens to you now, your family, maybe if they don't, sometimes family members don't even know that you have such assets.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Then you need to have a will. In this case, maybe speak with a lawyer, because there are not so many companies that do it. I know the legal practitioners do it. And then back then, I used to hear that people put wills under their bed, under their pillows, keep them in places that maybe when they are gone, people can easily, maybe family members can easily access them. So it all depends on an individual. There's no right or wrong time to have a will. But the moment you start having assets, that tangible assets, then it's advisable to have one.
Okay. So whether you have kids or not, you should just, as far as you have.
Even if you don't have kids, you have loved ones, right?
Yeah.
You have people that like are around you that you can leave something for. Do you understand? And the Bible even talks about it, that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's just see it as, you need to leave something. Whether you have children or not, you have loved ones surrounding you. And most people, even if they don't have children in the now, people plan to have children in the future. Do you understand? So you can plan it as financial security for your loved ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to Smart Money Woman.
Okay.
I think personally,
I read it recently as well. Sorry?
I said personally, I feel it's a book that actually should be in school libraries. if I could afford it, it's a book I'll get for everybody that I can, like, just to wake people up. Just to wake people up. So I think that there are a lot of life skills that we are not taught in school, educational system. I don't know about outside Nigeria, but there are just so many life skills that is when you come out of school, you'll be like, wow, okay, I did not know these things. And one of the things is financial literacy, like how to save, when to save, how much you should start saving. As much as I said, it's a common rule about the 50-30-20. I don't know how many people, even people in schools, like just basic things that will make you to stand on your own 2 feet before you become 35 or 40, and you start thinking, what has happened to all the years and all my money? Like I was thinking when I was reading that book. So, what happened to all my money all these years? So when do you think should be a good time to start introducing financial literacy to even kids? When do you think you should start teaching them how to save and the importance of money and things like that? Those are things I feel, even parents, I don't know about other families, but I don't know how many families sit down with their children and start teaching them, oh, this is how you should do it. You shouldn't spend money anyhow and things like that. When do you think we should start exposing our kids to this kind of information?
Oh, I think as early as possible. There's no right or wrong age to start introducing savings to children. So back then, I know piggy banks used to be very popular. They are now. Do you understand? But maybe now other things have, the digital world has taken over the conventional the piggy banks of those days. That's like the colo and all those things. So back then, all those things were there. It's just that in that case, maybe instead of investing, maybe it was spent on, oh, keep it here. Maybe if you do something, we'll buy you sweets. If you do something, we'll buy you. Do you understand? So it has always been there. But in my own case, growing up, I remember my mom buying shares for us as children. Okay. Do you understand? So at least I knew that there was, at that point, I did not understand what it was. I just knew that, oh, there was this yellow book with my baby picture on it. Do you understand? I think it was like maybe for like all the shares she had bought for me. So it was like a booklet back then. But now everything has been digitalized. You don't need to have a book. You don't need to carry all those things. Do you understand? Yeah. But then she actually did invest in stocks for us. But maybe she didn't just break it down to us like, oh, this is what this is. It is, I'm buying into companies so that in future you can get returns. Because right now, I'm enjoying the dividend of what she bought for me maybe like 10, 15 years ago. Wow. Do you understand? And I appreciate it now. I didn't understand it back then. But now I appreciate it because there are some days I'm just broke and wondering what's going to happen, and I get an alert. Do you understand? Like, oh, dividend from so and so bank. And I'm like, thank God, oh, something has happened. Do you understand? Yeah. So I feel like there's no right or wrong time to introduce these things to our children. And then you can also do it on their behalf. Do you understand? Till they become a certain age, maybe when they're 18, you can now tell them, oh, I invested in this, blah, 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 when you were young. And now that you have come of age, I'm handing it over to you to, take over from where I store and where I, so you can just at least mention it to them. At that point, they might not really understand. But children these days even understand more than we think they do. Yeah. Do you understand? So as long as they start to understand, as soon as they start to understand the concept of money, then you can introduce savings and investments to them. As well as budgeting. Yes, as well as budgeting. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, at least writing it down, you can tell them, oh, if they want something, I've not budgeted it for this month, but I can put it in my budget for next, the new month, and you can have it when there's a budget for it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? They might not understand, but by the time, oh, maybe the next month comes and you actually buy what they want, then you explain to them that, oh, I put it in the budget for this month, and that's why you can get it this month. So that they don't start expecting that next month again something. Do you understand? Because it might not exactly be in the budget for the next time.
Yeah. True that. So this one is Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin, please? What is is it is it that cash is going to get extinct? Let's start potting. Or what is Bitcoin about? Is it, will you say it's a wise investment for people to plunge their money into?
Okay, Bitcoin is digital money that is instant, it's private and free of bank charges, right? But they are not issued or backed by any bank or financial institution. Do you understand? And you can easily lose money with Bitcoin because it cannot be traced.
Okay.
So, for example, I've attempted investing in Bitcoin twice, and the two times I've lost significant money. So that's before I became, before I had more knowledge of verifying, understanding what you're investing in, because it is very important that before you invest in anything, you need to first of all understand it, right? So you don't just invest because, oh, everybody says Bitcoin is the next thing in town, Bitcoin is going to take over money as we know it, blah, blah, blah. You need to try and understand it. And so far, I don't feel like I've gotten enough understanding of Bitcoin. So for now, I would rather not deal with it. But if we look at it, things are changing, like things have changed over time.
Yeah.
So back then, in maybe two or three generations before us, or even more, it used to be exchange of commodities. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then it moved from exchange of commodities to metallics, that's like spending coins, right? And then it moved to paper money. And right now we're at the plastic money, like I call it, that is your ATM cards. You go to a shop, you don't need to bring out physical cash for you to make a payment. Do you understand? You just use your card and all of that. So in the future, we might be looking at cryptocurrency, because that might be the next thing after the phase we're in right now.
Okay. So
Yes.
Bitcoin is one of such.
Yeah, it's one of the various cryptocurrencies we have. So there are other ones as well.
Okay. So we have some questions here. I want to quickly go to them before we continue with us. Um, Someone is asking, with COVID-19 lockdown and reduction in financial capacity, a lot of families should prioritize their expenses at this crunch period. Okay, that was just a comment. Then please kindly explain how best is it to verify a reliable investment? How do one get to invest in treasury bills?
Okay. Okay, let's start from the first question. How do you verify a reliable investment? You need to do your research. Do you understand? So researching can be, oh, somebody told you about something. Do you understand? You need to first of all find out, are they licensed by anybody? Are they licensed? Like what you're investing in, is it licensed by anybody? So like for where I work now, we're licensed by CBN and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, right? So
Yeah.
you also need to find out if it's licensed. Go online, like the internet gives us leverage over a lot of things now. Do you understand? Like, so you don't need to even physically be somewhere for you to get information. Do you get it? So you can always check online. Oh, I say I'm licensed. Is there a way of even checking to be sure that I'm actually licensed? Like I said, you always need to verify. You can trust people that give you investment options. Verify, check the internet. Like do everything possible, you understand, to be sure that you are not going to fall into the hands of scammers. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to work so hard, make so much money, and like everything will be gone before your very eyes, like in the case of MMM and the likes. Do you understand? So yeah, because a lot of people invested in these things. I did invest at the time. Do you understand? Because I feel like I was not financially literate enough at that point.
Okay.
Do you get? Because I mean, it was a Ponzi scheme. You pay me money, I pay somebody else. Do you understand? There was no regulation, no nothing. And then the day the thing went bad, there was nobody to hold.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So we all just need to like try, and you need to be sure and check again. You have to be very sure that you're investing in things that are capable of giving you returns on your investments, and not just things that are maybe that you will lose your money in at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay, so the person also asked about treasury bills. How do people invest in treasury bills?
Okay, so right now banks no longer do it, but you can invest through a secondary financial institution. Do you understand? So like my company, please. Okay, we invest on behalf of people. Do you understand? So you can't, most of the time you can't do it as an individual, but you can go through other financial institutions to do that for you.
Okay, so I can just walk into Nuremberg and say I want to do treasury bills. Or you go online and you Google financial institutions that are into treasury bills. How do we go about it, per se?
Yeah, you can do your research, because back then banks used to do it, but right now, I mean, more recent times, they no longer do it. Do you understand? So you can check online to be sure
Okay.
of financial institutions that do such.
Okay, so I'm going back. Sorry, the thing I called a question, a comment, wasn't a comment. It's a question. It said, with the COVID-19 lockdown and reduction in financial capacity of a lot of families, how should a family prioritize their expenses at this crunch period?
Okay, nobody saw COVID-19 coming,
Yeah.
and so nobody exactly planned for it. Do you understand? But now we found ourselves in this situation, and the only thing I can tell everybody for now is to adjust to what's happening. Do you understand? So you adjust your spending, adjust your budget. So if your budget says you can spend maybe 100,000 on food, for example, if you could spend that before COVID-19, things have changed now. So you need to adjust your spendings.
Oh.
Yeah, adjust your spending habits so that it's like, so that there's like a comfort for you. Do you get? Because we don't know how long this is going to last for. So the sooner we cut things that are unnecessary, the better for everyone.
Yeah.
And then you can also get like a another source of income.
Another
So
source
like
of
right now, the face shield market is, yes, another source of income. It all depends. Not everybody can do a side hustle, but for those that can do a side hustle, you can maybe invest in face shield. I'm not advising on businesses that people can do, because I've not done adequate research on it. But like medical supplies right now, there's an increase in the demand for medical supplies, for example.
yeah.
And then there's in the future, maybe in the next 9 months, there's going to be like a baby boom due to the lockdown and all of that. So you can also invest in maybe in baby products. It all just depends on you. And then online retailing too is another option, because now a lot of people don't like to leave their houses if they don't have to. Do you understand? They would rather have people deliver things to them. So you should just look at other ways of making things at least a bit more comfortable for you as an individual. And then you can also look at investment options that pay maybe monthly returns. There are investment options that are like that, so you can get like returns monthly. So it all depends on what you want to do yourself.
I think I would just like to add that nothing is really too small for you to start, and don't think you have to have a large amount of capital to start. Like, you can start with something small, even if it's 10,000, because I know some people could start saying, oh, where is the money to even start? So just start with something, and you can start with anything. For me, I believe you can just start with anything. Don't look down on anything because they are making money for yourself. Don't look down on anything. Think of innovative ways that you can make money for yourself and your kids. And as she said earlier, financial freedom for the future. So one question is, how should couples deal with investment decisions when there are differing investment opinions? So for example, maybe a husband wants to do stock and a wife wants to do business. I guess that's what the person is asking.
Well, first of all, you and the couple need to have a discussion.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's the same way you look at it that, oh, some couples have joint accounts, others don't. So it all depends on the individuals involved. So you need to have a common goal, and if you cannot agree, then each person should do what they want to do. Do you understand? So it's not every time. No, it's the truth. Like, not everybody agrees on a joint account, right?
Yeah.
At least we've heard of joint accounts. Not everybody agrees on, but you don't see couples fighting because they don't have joint accounts. So yeah, investment, I think, should be treated that way. Do you understand? If you cannot agree on a common investment to do, then everybody should do their own personal investments and make their own money from it. Yeah, in my own opinion. And my opinion does not have to count.
In this case, so I think Mr. Issa wants to ask a question, or he has a comment. I don't know if you can unmute to ask, since he's not typing. Mr. Issa Adamu. Okay, maybe he's not there. Okay, so maybe when he unmutes, he can throw his question in. So what you've explained about Bitcoin, I guess, as you said, you just have to research about it to know more if you want to invest in it. As much as
and I also advise that you do it yourself. If you really want to do it yourself, because the 2 times I mentioned that I lost money in it, it was because I did, and people did it on my behalf. Do you understand? So I didn't understand what I was going into. I just, they told, oh, don't worry, your returns are guaranteed, blah, blah, blah. Nothing is guaranteed. But at that point, I did not understand. Do you understand? So it was as if, to me, I just dashed them money, as far as I'm concerned, because I did not understand what I was investing in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are some practical things you've mentioned. I love the thing you said about the 50-30-20. When you get a job, you shouldn't just think about blowing all your money, especially for those who are maybe just finishing school or are going to start NYSC, no matter how small. And one thing I learned recently is, no matter how small, even if it's 10 naira, look at it that you are going to enjoy its accumulation at the end of 10 years. Do you understand? Even 10,000 naira, you start at the end of 10 years. It's always, it's simply little drops of water makes an ocean. As in, I wish, I tell my younger ones, I wish some people sat me down and opened my head at their age. I started telling me this way. Okay.
So now that you've learned from your mistakes as it is, I think this is the right time to also maybe educate the younger ones so that they don't make the same mistakes that
that
we
people
made.
have. I guess that's
This
where
makes me sound so old. This makes me sound so old.
I don't think I'm in age, so me, I'm younger than you. So you're your own. But like, even if it's 2,000 naira, like you can start setting something
Just
aside.
something
Nothing
aside.
too small. Like, even if, as I said, you're earning 40K, don't squander everything and saying you're going to eat amala. Just like you said, every day you're eating out. You just have to discipline yourself for now. You know, when we were younger, at least I know my dad was always, he was really hard when it comes to money. Discipline yourself for now and think about the future, but we didn't just understand it. So now, looking back, 2,000, 3,000 is not too small. Just be putting it aside. And in the next 10 years, I think there's a very popular lady. Her name is something Nicola. She's a motivational speaker. And she said she was funding her dreams with little money that she was dropping into her account. And by the time she went to the bank, she couldn't believe how much she had saved up to start a business and an investment. So no matter how small, please, for those who are just about to start to work, I think it's something you should take. If you are not taking anything, that's something you should take. Just take, put that aside and look at 10 years from now, look at 5 years from now. Your story is definitely going to be a different case. So one last question. What will you say we should take home from this discussion? I know I'm saying, what will you say we should take home from this
discussion? I didn't go so much into diversification. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so diversification in the sense of not putting all your eggs in. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, diversification is like a mix of portfolios. So instead of just putting all your investments in one particular instrument, do you understand? You can put it in various things because you never know how things will turn out in the future. So let's say instead of just putting everything in one asset class, you can decide to put them in different asset classes because they would most likely give different returns in the long run.
Okay. Okay. So
yeah, so diversify your portfolio. The long and short, diversify your portfolio.
Can you break that English down? Like diversify your
Okay, that's
portfolio.
what I just did.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, when at the point of gathering assets, right? Instead of putting everything in, let's say, in fixed deposits or everything in treasury bills or everything in stocks, all of that. Do you understand? Yeah. You need to also sit down and divide them into different buckets. Do you understand? So you should also determine what you want to put in stocks, what you want to put in treasury bills, what you want to put in mutual funds. It all depends on you and your risk tolerance. Yeah. Do you understand? Because people also have different risk tolerance. So it all depends on what you want to do.
So some questions are here. What's your advice on shorting the stock market in these times? People are saying buy stock, but there's also a potential economic downturn. What's your advice for us in this current climate?
Okay, so my advice would be, if you're going to buy stocks now, you need to look at it long term. Don't do it for the short term, because in the short term it will most likely not give you the desired returns. Do you understand? So you need to look at the bigger picture. Look at it long term, basically.
Okay.
So don't buy stocks to dispose in 3 months or in 6 months. Do you understand? It doesn't exactly work that way. So you need to look at it from a longer point of view.
Okay, another question is, please, what's your opinion on equities? Also on returns on investments, what are the other viable sources of investments going by the southward drop of the rates?
Okay, so please, let's take it one after the other.
Okay. So she said, or he said, what's your opinion on equities?
Okay, equities is stocks, fraction of ownership in a company. Do you understand? So you need to look at the stocks that are doing well now, right now, or stocks that have the potential to do well.
Oh.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So you need to do your research and find out what you can do that are capable of giving you good returns on your investment.
Can you tell us any at the top of your fingers right now, stocks that are doing well or stocks that I think are going to be doing well?
Okay, in recent time, I know right now Fidelity Bank is doing well.
Okay.
This is, I'm not, do you understand? You need to do your research, and then you can invest in consumer goods, in stocks of consumer companies, because whether we like it or not, we use all these goods. Do you understand? In every house, you'll find maybe a Unilever product or a GSK product, or any of all those things. So you can invest in viable stocks that are capable of doing well, because in things like Dangote and all of that, they are not doing so well right now. But like I said, you need to look at it in the long term, not
Short
for
term.
for right now. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question was also on returns on investment. What are the other viable sources of investments going by the southward drop of the rate?
Okay, in more recent times, I think there's been a boom in the agri sector.
Okay.
Do you understand? So you can invest in agriculture, then in real estate also, because right now, because of the way the economy is, people are maybe disposing of their properties, distress sales here and there. So if you can afford it, then you can invest in all those things, because if you are buying it at a lower price than the original value of the, do you understand, of what it is worth, then I don't think it's a bad investment as such.
Okay, so real estate, but I guess you've mentioned something that cuts across for everybody, like from consumables to real estate. It all depends on how much you have to spend in terms of investments. So Busola said her mom did shares for them as kids. Do you have any advice on shares we can buy for our kids now? Like what company shares are viable these days? I guess you can repeat yourself. Yeah.
I've talked about it already. You can invest in consumer goods, look for bank shares that are doing okay right now, but also you need to look at it long term. Do you understand? Because my mom, like you mentioned, my mom did it 15, 20 years ago, and I'm still getting the returns.
Yeah. So like
Of 20 years after.
how much can you use to invest in things like this?
It all depends on it depends on what you have.
What's the
It all depends,
minimum?
because they are sold in units. Do you understand? So there's no minimum. So let's say a unit can be maybe 10 naira, a unit can be 100 naira. It all depends on what the stock is worth. So
Okay.
you need to do that research and decide what you want to do.
Okay, so it's not something for the rich. Anybody, as far as you plan on doing it, it's something you can do for your child.
Yes, you can
Yeah.
start and grow it over a period of time. So you can start small and grow it over a long period of time.
Okay. Okay then. So Busola, thank you so much. I guess I've covered all the questions. I'm not too sure if I haven't. You can just unmute and ask your questions to Busola, the money enthusiast. How should couples? I guess I've answered all questions. But if you want to give us something very tangible to say we are living here today, we met the money enthusiast, what should we take home?
I think, like I said earlier, treat your investment like a bill. Treat your savings, treat your investment like a bill. Distinguish between your wants and needs.
Yeah.
So you need to prioritize what your wants and your needs are. Pay yourself first. You need to put value on yourself. Do you understand? What do you think you are worth? Place value on yourself. Nobody will do that for you. You need to do it yourself. Then you also need to track your expenses. That's the only way you can determine if you are in line or not. Do you understand? Like a popular saying goes, you cannot assess what you don't track. Do you understand? So if you don't track it, you cannot tell what you spent, what you used your money for. Do you understand? And that's not the goal in the long run. So you always need to track your expenses, adjust your spending habits. Nobody saw COVID-19 coming, but it has come. So we need to adjust, like things that, you could not do without initially. You need to now sit back and think about if they are really important or not. Do you understand? If they are priority or not. And then we also need to be realistic.
Yeah.
Be realistic with your money.
Okay, I think we have a question, but a take home for me was you can be broke both ways. You can be broke to impress, you can be broke to invest.
Yeah,
I think I'll pick broke to invest over broke to impress, man. I don't.
Yes,
I really
yeah,
don't
it's very
I'm
important.
wearing slippers to work or I'm wearing slippers to church. As far as I know what you're gunning for, right? Like financial freedom for the future. As you said, there are some people that are lounging in this COVID because of decisions they have made in the past. And so just start small. So we have one question. I have, considering the current rates, the current state of Naira, is it advisable to invest in foreign exchange bills?
Okay, I would advise that you invest a part of your money in stronger currencies, like I choose to call them. So, for example, the dollar is a more stable currency. Those that invested when the dollar was 380, let's even say when it was 360, 380, are reaping the returns on their investments now.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, this.
That it has climbed from 3 something. So the fact still remains that the dollar is a more stable currency than the Naira. So you should than our Naira. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, because if you do a calculation of people, the returns on maybe other currency investments are not usually so high. So for example, if the Naira, a fixed deposit for Naira is at 10% per annum, you get the another currency can be maybe 5%. But in the long run, if you do a calculation of the people that invested when the dollar was at a lower rate, you would see that they have an advantage over the people that, do you understand, that invested in Naira. So I would advise you have investments in Naira, but investments in dollars and stronger currencies as well, if you can afford it.
So that's a viable investment option to also buy or invest in foreign exchange. Okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I hope we've answered every question, and I hope we took something, or we are taking something. Me, I've taken for myself, and I pray everybody did as well. Busola, thank you so much for your time.
One more thing, please.
Okay.
Okay, I'm an investment banker with.
Okay.
Sorry.
No,
okay, I'm an investment banker with one of the top investment investment banks in Abuja. So if you are if you are thinking of investing, you can contact me. You can talk to me. Maybe get my contact from Faye, and if you know me personally, just message me, and then we can talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I should have done that, right? Like, please, we can all Busola, yeah, at what? At Busola?
Busi or not?
You can type in the chat room. Yes, you can get in touch. I can share her number with you as well. She works at Nuremberg, and they offer you several investment options. Let's wake up, let's spend well, let's build a good financial future. Thank you very much. Have an awesome evening. Enjoy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.